Hello, orienteering friends. Welcome to the second stage of the KWAK O-tour Pilsen. Today it was a long course. Of course, the course setter tried to avoid the area where we ran the day before. It was more hilly and of course longer, but I enjoyed it. It was nice. So let's start. So the start, let's say, was you could we had to run to the mapping start, and from there you could see these stripes of some kind of younger forests. I decided to go around the first one and then just to run through the open forest because I don't know, I thought it will be easier to run, so that's what I did. And you can probably skip it a little bit now, or I will speed it up anyways. So around this part, I think I injured my eye somewhere here, or maybe it was a little bit later, I don't know. It wasn't that big of an injury, but later this day I had to go and visit the doctor and to check it out, because the eye was basically burning. Here I maybe a little bit too early I started studying the map. I could have continued a little bit longer, but I wanted to be sure that I'm going the right direction, let's say. And I think it paid off. I didn't miss the control. Maybe it was here where I injured the eye. I don't recall it exactly. But fortunately it wasn't that bothering as I expected it. So I was able to continue without any let's say issue. To control number 2, there was this choice to basically run around the hill or to go straight. I decided to go straight and try to go the shortest way. I think I was faster than going around, because obviously it was shorter, and although although I was passing this like young non-readable forest, I wouldn't be running anyways because it was uphill, so I didn't really mind it. Here was the path, yeah, and here came the decision to go uphill. It seemed rather long to me to go around the hill, and since it was the beginning of the race, I guess I was feeling fresh enough. Then when I got to the top, there was this gamekeeper seat, let's say. So I started going around it, and basically, I didn't want to go straight through that non-runnable forest just to avoid all the branches. So I went around it, and now I will speed it up a little bit. As you saw, that hill was, the hilltop was kind of sharply going up, so that's why I went around. And then here, the forest was a little bit, like you couldn't see through. There was, this kind of patches, but I went down. I was fairly confident where I'm going. I was just checking where exactly is the green or more greenish patches, and then I decided to go straight through this one of this like a younger forest, because I expected a control behind it. That worked out fine. Here I was looking at the map and thinking about the next move, and I totally missed this stone. I still feel the injury. It was pretty painful and surprising, but I had to move on, right? So I decided to go around this fence area into this, fairly runnable forest, and probably when I was trying to find my way through this, there was this, like more runnable forest here, so I threw myself off the course quite a bit. And then I would say I ended up slightly more to the right than I wanted. So I had to get back to that junction, which is like one more level below me. And from that, I entered the forest. I took a bearing, entered the forest, and I noticed that, there is this kind of curve of the contours. So I first tried to identify if it is a valley or some kind of ridge, and so I basically went through the edge of the valley and the ridge, and I think I found the control nicely. Obviously here I could have continued straight, but I'm still not very confident, so I wanted to be sure where am I. So that's why I went to this junction just to take the bearing properly. I think I lost a couple seconds by doing it, but it generally helped my confidence here. So now it will be more clear to control number 3. You can see that I'm here on the ridge. I'm pointing my hand to the direction where I expect the control. Not sure what I was looking at here. Anyways, I will speed it up a little bit. Here also other runners appeared, so that was like, that helped, let's say, in navigation. Now I took a bearing to control number 4, but obviously first I needed to, find some good way through this, vegetation and fallen trees and everything. I think that I don't remember exactly, but I think that I was able to keep my direction, so, or at least kind of keep it. But here also what helped me was this green young forest, so I was able to realign myself, and also the control was pretty clear, close, so that was easy, let's say, to get to this control 4. Control 5, it was a plateau somewhere up in the hill, and first I just decided to follow this road because it seemed runnable, and also I guess I wanted to follow this stream because generally it went into the direction to my control, so I sort of followed it as much as I could. Then I passed this like a marsh area, and then I started climbing the hill, found the first plateau, and from that I found the second one. So I will now speed it up. So yeah, now I reached the control. To control 6, that was a tricky one because, as you can see, the control is like I would say high. It's high uphill, so it doesn't really make sense to go downhill. Also, you don't really want to go uphill back to that road and around that stream. So I just decided, okay, I need to cross this valley where is the stream, and then just try to keep the contour on which I am, and then try to pass through that young forest that I saw from here already. I was expecting that I will end up a little bit below that contour to which I was aiming, but actually by some good luck or coincidence I basically ended up on the contour where my control was. So, you know, I passed this green vegetation, this thick vegetation here. I decided that, or it makes sense to me to go through it. I thought, whatever, I don't want to climb, so I went through. I lost my GoPro camera, like it hanged on some branch or got caught by some branch, so then I just took it in my hands and went out from this vegetation and then put it back on. And soon after, I basically found the control. So, as you can see, I'm not really in a rush. I didn't want to mess it up here. Again, you know, you don't really see far ahead, so I was more or less, I was waiting to find my way. But here, you know, on my left I could see the road, so I knew that I'm somewhat close. And then here it was. I'm pretty happy with. I was pretty happy that I nailed it. Now to control number 7. That was, you know, downhill, so that was pleasant. I had this young forest on my left, so that was like my first direction was to get to the edge of this young forest and the road, and from there I just decided to take a bearing and run straight to control number 7. So let's see. I think I didn't have any other strategy. The control was somewhat hidden inside this young forest. Here I was trying not to get wet, and it was possible, but later on, somewhere in this section, I simply had to go through some kind of marsh, so I wasn't able to avoid it. Now, of course, I'm entering this kind of marshy area that is, you know, full of trees. You don't see in front of you. So I was mostly following the footsteps of other people here, let's say, but kind of like just fighting my way through. And now, probably somewhat here, I noticed that there is this, you know, like more open, less vegetated area that was visible from in the map. And when I entered it, there was my control. So I'm not sure if I was more lucky or not, but I think I did my best to reach the control and executed it correctly. So now to control number 8, I thought that I will go along this road, but then, or the path, but then I realized there is this hill and I didn't want to climb it. So I just went around or below this slope and just, you know, followed this kind of contour. I remember that somewhere where this greenish area begins, I I started expect the control, and I was a little bit nervous because it was not there, and I thought, but I'm in this greenish area, and then I realized it's okay. These are the contours of this, elevated hill, or what is it, and it's behind it in some kind of valley. So yeah, I was a little bit, unsure, but I just followed and got to the control. Here I probably try to avoid going into this forest that is, not really runnable. So that's why I was maybe hesitating, not really running. Obviously, you can't really avoid it. I would have to go all around probably, and I would end up in some marsh anyway. Fortunately, it wasn't. This part was not that long, maybe 100 meters. Now you can see the marsh which I had to pass. I wasn't very happy about it, and as you can see, I'm still looking in the map because I was expecting the control already somewhere here, but yeah, then I realized that it's still this forest is. I'm below the hill and the forest is in the hill, so the contours and everything is correct, so it must be just a little bit further around the corner, let's say. So yeah, no, I wasn't really running fast because I was a little bit unsure about where am I, and also the vegetation didn't feel like running. Here to control number 9, at first I took a bearing and ran accordingly up until that narrow right. And when I found the narrow right, I basically took that direction to the path. Then follow the path along that river and its branches, and that's how I found control number 9. Maybe you can skip it up until control 9, I guess. So yeah, here I'm just following the stream and looking for that water ditch, let's say, and that worked out well. Basically same approach to get to control number 10. I was more or less following the like that kind of that branch of the river, and also it was control number 10. There was this like some kind of hatched area, greenish area, so I was focusing to get to that part, to something resembling some kind of specialty in the forest, and that is my control. So let's say this part was fairly easy, no mistakes. To control number 11, I had to climb it up. It was uphill, and generally I was, I took the bearing and I tried to follow that direction, but I was also, looking around the edges and the vegetation boundaries. I found the gatekeeper's stand, let's say, and from there there was like a pass through that greenish forest that it was like a thicker one. So when I passed that one, I was already only walking because it was a steep hill, and I continued uphill. There was also let's say a visible vegetation boundary that leads to control number 11, and that one I was able to distinguish. So basically all clicked to get to control 11. So you can speed it up, or I will speed it up now. To control number 12, again, it was a control that was very close to control 11. Those two controls were close by, so I basically just followed the bearing, and obviously you can see that big like a long rock, so that was my aim. I was aiming to get to such a feature, and I was expecting the control behind it as a stone, and that's what I found. And but then the next route choice that I did was not probably the best one. I know, or I remember the feeling because I was very undecided. I couldn't decide if I should go, let's say, more up and get it from the right side, let's say, through the paths that are there, or if I should go straight down to the path and along it. And because of this undecided mind, I basically started going somewhat in the middle, and like I was able to navigate it. I was able to still know where I am, more or less, but it definitely wasn't ideal. I would have been faster going straight down and along this big road. Yes, I would have to climb a bit more at the end, but I would definitely be faster, I think. And here you can see on the map there is a lot of this greenery. Although it was fairly runnable, I still believe that on the road I would be faster. At least I wouldn't have to, navigate, I was checking the map quite a lot. Here I was even climbing a little bit, because this part looked like, runnable. You don't have to fight the vegetation here, but it was uphill, so I couldn't, let's say, run that fast. And then there was this point a little bit later, so I will speed it up. Around this point, I felt a little bit lost. I was expecting the road or the path to be, reachable here, and I was climbing, but that was not necessary because of this steep slope. I then decided to go down. When I looked up, it didn't look like a road is on top of me. And here at this point, I decided to go around this greenish area, around this young forest. And there was actually a small path. So I followed that path. I found a control there at the stone. And from there, I was going to the fenced area, and from there to my control. So I will speed it up, but again, this was not the best choice because of a lot of mapping, let's say, a lot of navigation. And here you can even see that if I would have taken the road, I wouldn't climb any more contours than I did here. Maybe one or two more, but I would still be faster, I believe. And finding the control here was, I would say, easy. I had a good bearing. I had, there were even some people around, so I was pretty confident in finding the control here. It was, what was it? Yeah, it was this knoll. So because it was a knoll, it was visible in this open forest, so that wasn't hard to find. And to control number 14, I just went basically straight along the bearing and didn't do any mistake, so I will speed it up. So here I took a little bit of refreshment and continued, but at this point I was like, did I punch the control? I was already so exhausted that I wasn't sure about it, so I went back and punched it again. Probably lost like 10-15 seconds, but whatever, I was happy that I punched it. And control number 15, like the first, like more than a half of this was like, to me it was clear that I will take the roads or the paths in the forest. I was quite confident that I will not go straight, although when I'm looking at it, the forest was probably runnable, but like here I think it was the fastest way to go, so I will speed it up now. Up until now, I wasn't really thinking about like how to attack control 15. I think I wanted to go all the way up almost to control 16, or you know, behind that junction of the two parts, but then I saw some guy from a fellow club which I knew, and he was going through this clearing, and I thought to myself, that's actually a good idea, because you have this clearing here, so you can follow that direction, and then you have this vegetation boundary. You will have these young forests on your left, and you will basically straight from the edges you will hit the control 15. So I did the same route choice as he did, and we ended up at the control at the same time. So I will speed it up again a little bit maybe, or you can just skip it. It will not take long, so I will let the video rolling. So now at this control 15, I had some trouble to, you know, properly orient my map and, you know, get my head around all these narrow rides and everything. And again, this guy from this fellow club, Slany, he helped me, you know, to just navigate. I was really, at this point I was somewhat poor in navigation. It was probably somewhat confusing to me, this part. I don't really know. I can't really explain it. Fortunately, I got to this bigger path, and then from there it was, let's say, clear how to get to this clearing. You know, it was like, I would say it was almost visible from this path. So that was easy. Again, let's say, although I must admit I was a little bit confused at first. To control number 17, well, I could have gone straight uphill around that clearing and around that greenish area, but I decided to go left because it seemed like I wouldn't have to climb so many contours. I'm not sure if I was right, but to me it seemed like easier run, you know. So if you want, again, you can speed it up a little bit, because now I'm just running. When I got to that valley, I basically followed the narrow ride and through the young forest straight to control 17. So here I'm again fighting some young forest. Probably didn't picked up the best spot to where to get through, but because when I get to the control, I could see like a path already made by other runners when they were getting through this young forest, and it would have been easier to get there through here. Anyways, when I got out from that, I generally like sensed that the last control is in this direction. I first started heading to that fenced area and then along that next clearing and basically straight to the finish. So the only mistake I made, I think, was the route choice from number 12 to number 13, I think. And other than that, it was fine, and I enjoyed this kind of area. It was like challenging and interesting with the part around the river as well. So this was a good race. I think I even got to some nice position, like maybe I was 5th, maybe 8th, somewhat in the first 10. So I was satisfied after this race. I was very happy. Hope you enjoyed it, and see you at the next one. Bye.
Miroslav Pilát, KO